The male domination and highly patriarchal society in the Victorian era can be contrasted to our contemporary era where there is more gender equality and issues of discrimination. Influenced by differing societal values at time of writing, various doomed romantic narratives convey common issues. Robert Browning was a Victorian-era poet. Key values were portrayed in both Porphyria's Lover and My Last Duchess. Browning's work portrays ego-driven violence as a consequence of men's insecurity with regards to the voices of their female partners. In the contemporary era, equality has evolved over the years, as evident through the novel of We Come Apart by Sarah Crossan and Brian Conaghan. Both narratives reflect the challenges the lovers have to face because of values in the era which foreshadows the doomed relationship. In Porphyria's Lover, various themes are explored which alludes to the couple's doomed romance. Browning's use of possessive nouns suggests that Porphyria is the one who initially dominates. This contradicts the Victorian attitudes of the subservient wife and therefore foreshadows their doomed relationship. Zura used here further emphasizes her active character, contrasting to her lover's passivity, as he is unsure how to respond to her offer. Through the A-B-A-B-B syncade rhyme structure, the extra B line alludes to the narrator's controlled characteristics, and how one character dominates the other. The four opening lines are paradoxical and sets the tone, revealing the megalomaniac persona of the male character. Through the repetition here, at that particular time he has her completely to himself. The quote represents the societal values of its time, as the reversal of powers was not accepted. Browning's Porphyria's Lover explores the key factors of power imbalance and passivity during the Victorian era, which hints on their doomed relationship. We Come Apart also reflect key factors in suggesting the doomed romance of the lovers. However, the use of we in the title symbolizes the relatively more balanced powers the two protagonists have in their relationship. Further explored by the dual perspective structure of Nico and Jess in the novel, reflects the contemporary era. However, the young lovers do not have power against the society as a whole, conveying a sense of helplessness, and they could only rely on each other. The quote reflects the disgust Jess's friends feel towards Niku, and thus represents the discrimination that he faces in the society. Concepts of imbalanced powers and passivity in the novel reflect that Niku and Jess has challenges and barriers to face in that specific time, which foreshadows their doomed romance. My Last Duchess explores the lack of communication between the two characters, suggesting their doomed relationship. Displayed through the structure, this alludes to the Duke's psychosis and untrustworthy characteristics. He has presented that he is skillful enough to communicate with the Duchess about the issue, but he doesn't care to speak to her. This is further emphasized through the dark tone and use of semicolons, suggesting the Duke is unable to tell the Duchess about her behaviors directly. His jealousy and madness, coupled with their lack of communication, is a key factor in their doomed romance. The Duke's perception of his relationship with his wife is conveyed through his dialogue with the Count's servant. Browning's use of imagery alludes to how the Duke views himself as a god who controls the Duchess and do as he wishes. Thus, Browning's exploration on the lack of communication between the two lovers throughout My Last Duchess foreshadows their doomed ending romance. Similarly, in We Come Apart, the doomed nature of Niku and Jess's relationship is caused by their lack of direct communication. From the beginning, it is foreshadowed the direction of their relationship. The author's use of surprise and sarcastic tone when Niku tells Jess about his marriage displays a confusion and expression of betrayal. This conveys whether she is able to accept his cultural beliefs and thus alludes to their doomed ending. Through the metaphor of Mercury, it demonstrates the high stakes and secretive nature of Niku and Jess's relationship. Crossan and Conaghan's use of repetition hints on Niku and Jess's doomed relationship due to their inability to communicate fully with the language barriers. Through the metaphor, it conveys Niku is willing to let the love of his life go in order for him to face his punishment. The indirect communication of breaking up suggests they are unable to keep a durable relationship. Through Niku and Jess's lack of communication with each other, family and friends, it conveys the societal values they have to face in the modern era, and it foreshadows their doomed relationship. Explored through We Come Apart by Sarah Crossan and Brian Conaghan, and Poland's Porphyria's Lover and My Last Duchess composed by Robert Browning, it has conveyed to the audience the different values in the Victorian era and the contemporary era. The possible contributors to doomed romance would include the highly patriarchal society in the 19th century and racial issues of multiculturalism in the 21st century. These values and attitudes reflected through a variety of literacy techniques portrays doomed romance of lovers.